We all know Subarus have loads of reliability issues, whether it's head gasket failure, bottom end engine failure, or something else. The cars are getting older, there's more and more going wrong with them, and more getting scrapped. Luckily, I managed to save mine from the scrapyard. This is basically what was going on. So firstly, on Monday night, I actually got stranded at the side of the road, broken down. The car was misfiring and then it wouldn't run at all. So I ended up getting stuck, had to get my friend to come and help me out. After about 4 hours, we managed to get the car going, managed to get it home. And then from then, I was borrowing my dad's pickup truck for a couple of days. But what had happened there was one of my camshaft sensors had failed. Fairly common thing, depending on what sensors you've got. I had some aftermarket ones on there, and I think that's pretty much why they failed. They sort of lasted about 8 months, but they're quite a lot cheaper than the genuine ones, so there's obviously going to be some kind of gap in quality. I'm not going to mention the make of the sensor, but I was a little bit disappointed. I would have thought the company selling them would have been a little bit better. But it's all good, all sorted now. Got that changed, which was a bit of a nightmare. There's not a lot of access, and it's a bit fiddly. So this is the old camshaft sensor that I took out. Like I say, it's an aftermarket one, but that's only about 8 months old. So really, I don't know, maybe it shouldn't have failed. But I am confident the timing is correct on the engine. And also, I am pretty confident the wiring's all good. I did test the wiring with a multimeter, checked that I had the right voltage getting to the sensor, and also checked the grounds, made sure that it's all grounding out all right, and it is. The most resistance I saw anywhere was 0.2 ohms, or 0.02 ohms, sorry, which is nothing to worry about. That's pretty normal. And yeah, I guess it could be slightly better, but it is grounding and there's a fairly low resistance there. So in relation to where the cam sensors are on this engine, obviously there's 4. You've got 2 inlet and 2 exhaust. But obviously this is boxer engine, so there are 2 cylinder heads, 2 sets of cam sensors. But the one that failed is down there. You can just see the top of that grey plug there. That's where it is, so it's a bit of a nightmare getting to it. Had to grind a spanner down and all of that to get onto it. But we got there with that in the end. Now, the second issue that I've been having with the car is I've actually only been running about half boost. And to be honest, for a long time, I didn't really worry about it. I didn't think about it because obviously I haven't had the car mapped. So it was always going to be running a little bit different to standard. But after seeing a post on Facebook, I realised that I'd made a mistake when I rebuilt the engine, or at least when I had the turbo rebuilt. And basically, what I had done is on the front of the turbo, there is vacuum lines, sort of in a T shape, and I replaced those with silicone vacuum lines. They're a bit better for sort of heat resistant. So I replaced them, but what I didn't realise was that inside those vacuum lines, there is a little restrictor that restricts the airflow to the wastegate. Now the reason they have this is to help you build boost properly, because it's all controlled by the ECU, but the wastegate will open under about 8 psi of pressure. So they use this restrictor to slow down the flow of air to the wastegate, and basically I hadn't got it in there, so it was just opening on spring pressure at about 8 psi. So these from standard are meant to run about 14 psi, just under a bar really. It obviously wasn't. I managed to order a couple of these restrictors. You get them in various sizes for different spool characteristics. You get a 1.2 mil or a 1 mil, and I think you can also get like a 0.8 mil. I did order both sizes. I got this is a 1.2 mil here, so a slightly bigger one. Now that gives you a slightly more progressive spool, which is all right, but this is a twin scroll setup, so really you want a fast and aggressive spool. But yeah, all it is a tiny little, I mean, you can see the size of that. It is absolutely tiny. Fits inside a 4 mil vacuum line with a little hole through the middle. But I've got this one in stock now if I ever need to change to a 1.2 mil. But I've got the 1 mil in there. I've also changed out the positive battery terminal because that is absolutely knackered. on a new genuine one, which is good. You can get those. So yeah, I've done all that, and the car is now running all right. It's running full boost. I have kept an eye on the live data, checking the lambda reading, checking for knock. Naturally, it's running really well because it's running 8 degrees of positive knock correction. So on these Subarus, the ECU, if it's not detecting knock and it's happy with how it's running, it will advance the timing, but it will do that and show up on the live data as knock correction. It is advancing the timing, and I think with the normal time in advance and everything, we end up about, on full boost, about 22 degrees advance. So it's pretty good. I'm happy with how it's running now. Obviously, still hasn't been mapped, so I am not, you know, hooning around everywhere, wide open throttle. But it is nice to feel that torque when you get on the throttle a bit now. As well, on this car, I did mention in the last video, the top and bottom radiator hoses were a little bit knackered. So I've gone ahead and ordered some new ones. I've got some new genuines here. That's the top one. And that's the bottom. So I've got them ready to go. I will be getting them on and then re-bleeding the system. And hopefully all my cooling issues will be sorted. It was all right, but occasionally it get a bit warm. So I bled the system in the last video. It's all good now, but I am going to get those hoses on and re-bleed it, make sure it's all perfect. I think now I am going to move on to the BMW. I've got a lot of progress with that, or at least I've got a lot of things ready for it. So without further ado, let's get on to that. So then, the BMW, it's a bit clapped out at the minute, needs quite a lot doing. I've sorted out the front suspension, which had all collapsed, became undrivable. Got that all sorted out now. I do need to just put the strut brace back on, but I was telling you before I had a bit of a boost leak, and I think this might be the culprit. So on these cars, on these BMWs anyway, you've got your inlet manifold, and then inside there you've got swirl flaps. Now they open, you're picking up through the revs, and they allow a bit more airflow, generates a bit of a swirl effect, which is supposedly better for combustion. What the problem is this is the actuator for the swirl flaps, and unfortunately it's a bit of a design flaw, but in there is the arm that actuates them, and there's a little hole that goes through onto the shaft for the swirl flaps, and the seal in there just fails. On every single one the seal fails. It's a good idea to get rid of the swirl flaps anyway, because they tend to fall off and fall into the engine, which is no good. So what I'm going to be doing is pulling that inlet manifold off. I'm going to take it into work, get it all clean. They gum right up with, well, this sort of stuff. So I'm going to clean that out. I've got a few bits to sort this thing out. I suspect also it's got a bit of a turbo issue. The turbo is mounted down there, so I'm going to be doing something about that. But yeah, let's just show you all the bits that I've started to get together for this. So parts wise, for the engine anyway, this is all really to solve a bit of an oil burning issue, a bit smoky, and I think obviously with the inlet manifold, I think we're basically getting a boost leak there. So I've got the swirl flap delete kit, it's a little bung and a set of inlet manifold gaskets. Got the CCV valve, which is like it's like a PCV, but for the diesels. And then Max Speeding Rods have very kindly sent me a turbo. So just on first impressions, it looks really good. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit skeptical, but it actually looks like really good quality, been well machined, and I can't fault it from just looking at it anyway. Looks really good, so I'm gonna get that on and do a bit of a review on that. But then other than that, guys, on this BMW, I'm gonna be giving it a full clean, full on detail. I'm gonna be machine polishing it. There are a couple of little paint chips that need sorting out, which I've got the correct colour touch-up pen, gear and all that. I'm not trying to make it perfect, but I want to make it a good car so that I can sell it. It's going to take a bit of work, a little bit of money spending, but it's worth it. It's good for the channel. But anyway, guys, I think that is going to be it for today's video. Hopefully, I'll get another one out next week. It's been a little bit stop and go because of, obviously, the car breaking down, trying to get that sorted. Really, I'd like to film doing some of that, but didn't really get the chance. Wanted to get the car back on the road. But yeah, I will see you in the next one, guys. And please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Cheers, and guys.